There is a rumor out there, Dave Meltzer reported it as well, that one of the tentative plans for SummerSlam this year is Roman Reigns defending the title against John Cena. How do you feel about it? Are you okay?
I mean, I saw a trailer for the new Fast 9, I think it is, isn't it? I think that's released in the States on June 25th. It's released later this month. So you can understand why Cena would want, mind you, the film will probably have finished its run in cinemas by then, in 8 weeks after the film comes out. So the timing wouldn't be ideal to promote the movie. But I mean, I can understand why Cena would want to participate in a show of this magnitude at the stadium in Las Vegas, August 21st, I believe the show's taking place.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, to me, is the biggest star in wrestling right now. To me, the best all-round performer. For Cena to return for a match with Roman Reigns, it's a totally different configuration, arrangement to when they wrestled at... When did they wrestle? Was it...
No Mercy 2017.
2017, okay. So, I mean, they were both faces then. I think Cena kind of did heel it up a little bit in the promos before the match. But then again, Reigns, was kind of, drifted off into tweener territory as well with some of the things he said about Cena when they had that quite personal interaction. Remember that?
They were shitting on each other, brother. They were going for it.
Yeah, quite explosive in-ring confrontation before their match. So I can understand why Cena would want to have this match. It's totally different setup to when we saw it nearly 4 years ago. Obviously, Reigns would retain the belt. He would defeat Cena. I'm sure Cena would have no objection whatsoever to putting Reigns over. So I don't really have that many complaints about it. I mean, maybe if I continued talking for a little bit longer, I would unearth some complaints or some grievance and bile at the suggestion that this match should headline WWE's biggest show of the summer. But I think it's something, in all honesty, that can succeed and can work for both men. I mean, Cena's never coming back full time. I mean, even coming back to do a match, I mean, you've got to say, you kind of got to, you hark back to Rock when he did the matches with Cena and then was injured in I think, both of them. And then that ended up delaying filming schedules for movies, and that upset the directors and caused all sorts of problems with Hollywood. And he was basically told in no uncertain terms, you've got to stop wrestling because these schedules, we need to stick to these because there's hundreds of people working on these films. And if they're being delayed, it just screws everything up, costs loads of money. And it just means that, we can't rely on you. So, you're either a movie star or you're a wrestler. You can't be both. You've got to concentrate on one or the other. So the idea of Cena going back into wrestling when I'm sure he's got I'm sure he's got a full schedule of either TV or films in the autumn. If he's injured in the match, that could potentially scupper a film or TV project. So I suppose he's got to consider that as well. But I mean, on paper, Kenny, I don't really have any objection to the match because I think it can work for both men. And I think it can also work for WWE. Cena is no threat to Roman Reigns' position on the card. He cannot do anything to harm Reigns' status because that there is established, cemented. He is in a position right now where he's virtually invincible. So I don't have any concerns at all about this match taking place. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting because when Cena came back to have the match with Bray Wyatt in 2020, before coronavirus really kicked off, there was a sense of dread about their upcoming WrestleMania match because Cena has some issues in the past with people that he works with in terms of putting them over. We just saw the Goldberg thing right before it. But then when COVID happened and he did the Firefly Funhouse match, I mean, the fact that he almost won you round with the Firefly Funhouse match tells you how good a job he did in sort of rehabilitating his image. So I think he's got a lot of goodwill that he didn't have before. He's been saying the right things in interviews. He's been saying the right things about what his spot would be, about wanting to make sure that he is doing continuations of stories and not just coming in and kind of disrupting the show which is I think it's a good point to make. So I think that
Yeah.
for the big stadium show they're going to have, a big SummerSlam stadium show, I don't know who else you could get that would feel as big as Roman Reigns and John Cena. And like for me personally, I've been at many, 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 many WWE pay-per-views where I have dreaded the idea of John Cena as the big babyface. But he kind of at the moment, he's got me open to kind of seeing him as a babyface and enjoying it. And he's going to put over Reigns, and I think Reigns will be a good opponent for him because Reigns will protect him, and
Yeah.
Reigns will get a good match out of him. So I feel like this is a no-brainer. If they can get it done and Cena's able to do it, then I think the promos could be really good leading up to it. I think they'll be better than the last time because the last time it was strange. It was like Cena going, "If you were good enough at your job, I wouldn't be back," and then Roman's like, "You were the shits," and it was a bit wacky. But this would be better, I think. So I'm all aboard for this one.